a good heart. You'll find it so difficult quando tukunchi kubikenda. Talaindrendre. Talaindrendre because our heart is hardened. Our heart is iced. Our heart is black. So my testimony today is simply to just enlighten us or encourage those of us out there who probably you're facing the same thing and going through the same challenges that I went through. As you all know, about a year and 4 months ago, I had to seek a release from HQ. I testified about it very briefly the last time I stood at Akofo. And today I'd like to just help us understand the challenges that I went through at that time that I left HQ. Ladies and gentlemen, for all of you who are married here, you know how your life is with your spouse. I came into this ministry, my wife and I didn't share the same beliefs about this ministry. And that's the hard fact. And it's not to say that I despise my wife. I love my wife through and through, regardless of whatever she believes. And that had stemmed from whatever happened and whatever I had asked God. So my wife and I disagreed on many things. Joining NCF was one of them. So at that time, when we were getting close to global conference, her dislike had grown in a way. And I felt that I had to seek a release. Because the one thing that I understood about this ministry was that this ministry was founded by the first family. It was founded on the basis or on the values of a family. So I messaged my EM and I told her, ma'am, I cannot be seen to testify, or I cannot be seen out there doing the HQ work when at home my house isn't in order. I wouldn't be honest to you, and I'd be jeopardizing the name of our leadership and the ministry. So I resolved to seek release, and my EM at that time, EM Pro Events, had graciously given me the release. As we went through the next couple of months, I saw how God's hand worked. We were at the point where we were sleeping in separate rooms. We were at the point where she had moved all of her stuff into a separate room. We were at the point where just only this much left for us to sign off on the divorce document. And then I prayed to God. And this prayer, when God answered it, I knew that the woman that I married is going to be the woman that I will stay with for the rest of my life. Amen. Regardless of the choices that she makes, or regardless of the decisions she makes, whether or not to join this ministry. Amen. So I prayed to God, and I prayed and I cried at the seawall, and I prayed, God, if you wanted me to marry her in the first place, if you didn't, or if you knew that this was going to happen to me, why did you allow me to marry her in the first place? You should have just left me to be single. You should have just allowed me to be single so that I can come and I can join this ministry and I'd be free. But then the Lord put it in my heart that I am supposed to go with my family. The ministry that you are trying to join, or the ministry that you are trying to wholeheartedly serve, was founded on a family, a total and complete family. So I resolved to just carry on. And what it took me, and brothers and sisters, well, the things that we went through had also stemmed from before I had joined the ministry. I wasn't at home. I was drinking. I was partying. I had a child, but I still acted like a teenager or like someone who is single. So when the time came, I asked my wife if she would forgive me. And then the very thing she replied to me was, I don't love you anymore. So for those of you married here today, just imagine your spouse standing to you and telling you, I don't love you anymore. That is what I heard, straight from her. So I prayed, and I did the only thing that our ministry or our leaders have always taught us to do, was to pray, fast, and have a good heart. I did everything I could within my own power or within my own human strength to try and do it. But then I knew I needed God's intervention. And so what it took me 6 years to destroy my family, what it took me 6 years to destroy, the Lord restored it in 6 months. Amen. We are now at a point, ladies and gentlemen, where whatever happened was like a nightmare.